I've got a spreadsheet to show you. So he gets the floppy disk out, sticks it in his PC, his work PC, and turns it all, starts loading it, and we sit there for about 5 minutes until the spreadsheet appears. He's sort of, it doesn't take this long at home. Then he hit the page down key, and it took another 5 minutes to render the second page on the spreadsheet. He said, I need a new PC. I need a new work PC. So next morning our boss was in and he said, I need a new PC. And the boss was like, no you don't. It doesn't, it's perfectly adequate for what you're using it for. He said, yeah, but the PC I have at home is 10 times faster than this, and frankly I could get a lot more done if I just had a new PC. So the boss was like, oh, yeah, okay, we'll see what we can do. Promise of more work, that's always a good thing. So within a couple of weeks he had a new PC on his desk. And I think our boss was happy with the production improvement. But at that point we could then sit and look at his massive spreadsheet and actually make sense of it. But in spite of being impressed with X-Wing, it was a game I never actually bought myself. I know, this friend of mine, being computer programmers, we figured out how the game worked, and it produced a log of all the battle events, and basically some enemy TIE fighters were just targets to be shot at, and others were actually while still being mission objectives, but others were critical mission objectives, and it was kind of like, okay, you're protecting a group of shuttles and 3 incoming TIE fighters. You need to target number 2 because number 2 is going to destroy shuttle number 4. If you don't blow it up within a set amount of time, and he figured out it was always the same time, but in the battle, but TIE Fighter 2 would destroy Shuttle 4 if you didn't blow it up before 2 minutes were up. But 1 and 3 wouldn't blow up anything. They would blow you up if you were careless, but you just had to destroy them because they were part of the mission objectives. And so he'd play the he'd play a battle and said, "Oh, I didn't make it. Okay, let's review the log and see which of the enemy ships blew up which of the things I'm supposed to be protecting." So at that point, it was sort of flagged up. Okay, I've got to target TIE Fighter 2 in the first group. And so he'd target that one first, blow that one up. The shuttles are now safe until the second wave arrives. And he can now deal with 1 and 3. And then the second wave turns up. And Shuttle 2 would die. So he'd go back, review the log, which of the 3 new TIE fighters blew up Shuttle 2. Okay, restart the mission. Target TIE Fighter 2, get through the first group. Okay, second group I need to target TIE Interceptor number 3 first. And over the course of a playing session, he would eventually complete the mission, figuring out which targets he was supposed to shoot in which order in order to complete the mission. But that's how simple the AI was back in the day. These days, probably there isn't a set, this one is always going to kill this. It's more like you need to keep them all distracted and blow them all up as fast as you can. But if you keep them distracted, then they don't have time to target their mission objectives. But it was definitely a fun-looking game, and the sound was incredible. In spite of the fact there's no sound in space, but you could hear a TIE fighter scream past you and over your right ear and behind you. I think I got X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, because that was the game that was out when I got that far, and I didn't get very far with it. I was more into Civilization. I broke that. So, yeah. The original Civilization game, I broke that. Oh, and there we are, scraping along the edge of the map. I started out as the Mongols, and I researched as far as horsemen, and then just went into massive production of horsemen, and basically defeated the entire world. That was my first defeat the world victory, and I was going up against tanks. I think the last opponent had researched and built a tank, and I threw dozens of horsemen against it, and I won. But the way to win that game was just to build cities. So early game it was sort of, okay, I've researched horsemen, I'm going to have my central cities producing horsemen, because it just takes too long for the settlers to get anywhere. And all of my exterior cities were building settlers and just expanding my borders like crazy. And there was no limitations in the original Civilization as to how many cities you could have, and there was no penalty for having too many. You had to build, what did we call it, an aqueduct for your city to get more than 8 people in it, and you had to have a sewer system to get more than 12. Well, I don't think I'd even researched a sewer system. I managed to get an aqueduct, I believe. So my cities could be up to 12 people, and then it was done. And then I got my cities to 12 people. I had settlers on the outskirts, and then as soon as I hit an enemy, I just threw hundreds of horsemen at them until they died. And I'd lose 10, 15 horsemen against a musketman, but not a problem. You throw enough horses at it, you'll win. And the game was just broken if you got more than 50 cities. And with all the captures and the building I was doing, it sort of, it was kind of done. Civ 2 got a little bit more tricky because they did have penalties for having, your civilization can't support that many cities and people being happy. Yeah, now I played SimCity. I didn't get into many other sort of realistic sims. I did the odd flight sim, but I didn't really get into sim farming, sim trains, sim trucks, that type of thing, until quite recently. There reason I got into farm simming was a YouTuber called Earl Grey, who I watched because he played World of Warships. He doesn't produce many, if any, videos on his channel anymore because his wife left him, so he decided to get a job with wargaming and moved to Russia. He's from the UK. So now his job entails playing World of Warships a lot. And whatever else his actual job is. But he did buy Farm Sim and put out one video on it. And I decided that actually looks quite interesting. I think I might buy it. And it was just as Farm Sim 17 came out. I'll just tap down the sound and I'll be back in a minute. Yay, the early morning Saturday nobody there call. And then I ended up putting about 1,600 hours into Farm Sim 17. And now we're into Farm Sim 19. I don't think I've played nearly as many hours of 19 as I have 17. I think that's in part because of streaming. You know, back in 17 I would... Farm Sim is the sort of game you can play and watch other people YouTube or stream or whatever. Because it doesn't take a great amount of concentration. I can't, for example, play Truck Sim while watching somebody's YouTube or stream because I'd end up wrecking the truck. But since I'm streaming, I have streaming myself, I probably don't play as much Farm Sim. I only stream for a few hours when I do. I think the Saturday morning streams are probably the longest streams I do, potentially. I mean, we've been going an hour and a half here. Normally, on a weekday, I'd be considering ending the stream at this point, or thinking about ending the stream soon. But we'll probably be going till at least midday, maybe a little bit after. Kind of when I get hungry, it's time to call it and go and get food. But with a shorter streaming schedule, I'm not playing much offline. Although, now we have more people in the house. I used to be able to stream more frequently because Mrs. Osa, if she wasn't streaming with me or playing with me, she could watch something on her computer with her headphones on, so I could stream. But she's kind of getting to the point where she wants to go and sit on the sofa and watch TV rather than watch TV on the computer. So we don't have a sound break between the office and the living room still, and so I can't stream without having a lot of background noise. Background noise that I could get copyright strikes on. So, and then with kids in the house as well, it's sort of I'm going to end up with SpongeBob SquarePants theme tune running in the background, or Baby Shark or something like that. Hopefully our contractor is going to free up his schedule, especially since we're coming up to winter and installing doors inside a house is not something that you need hot, dry weather for. So we may get the door installed in a couple of months. So next year it'll be a thing. But for right now, he's catching up on a lot of outside contracts that he needed to get done over the summer and couldn't because everybody had to stay at home and contractors weren't allowed to work because they might infect the people that they weren't having daily contact with. That was a crazy thing. Yeah. Okay, I can understand hairdressers being, we need to be careful because hairdressers are right next to your head, but a contractor who's putting up a gazebo or framing out an extension, he's not mixing with you. It's easy to keep him at 6 foot length and outdoors. So the whole social distancing thing didn't really come into play. But governor decided, we need to stop them people working. I kind of figured she stopped them working until she needed some work done, and then said, I need to, we need to let them go back to work because I need something done. Kind of like Michigan's been locked down fairly tight, except for the location where her holiday, her vacation home is. And now we're coming up to late fall and winter, and the temperatures are cold, and you don't want to be out on the lake boating. Oh, that area is now on as much lockdown as the rest of Michigan. So call me a bit sarcastic, or not sarcastic. Whatever the word is. But it would appear that lockdown restrictions are in some part based on what our governor wants to be able to do at any given time in the year. And she'll keep us all locked in when she doesn't want to go anywhere, but as soon as, I need to go on vacation, I need to be able to eat out when I go on vacation. So in my vacation area, we're just going to open up the restaurants and you can boat on the lake, but all the other parts of the state, you can't boat on the lake because it's dangerous where you want to be. And the whole you can't go and visit your vacation home and, it's spring and I want to go and visit my vacation home. So this area of vacation homes you can actually travel to, but any other areas you can't. It's just sort of, no. People don't like their leaders doing that sort of thing. You can't get your hair done, but I need to get my hair done because I'm an official. Sort of, no, screw you. It's no safer for you to do it than it is for the rest of us. So either we all get to do it or none of us should be able to do it. I was saying early on, it's not as bad as the UK, and small business is basically telling the government, if you lock down now, there ain't going to be any small businesses left in the new year, because this is the time of year where small businesses make pretty much all of their profits, and if you basically close all of the retail outlets for selling non-essential stuff. I mean, I know I think it's Wales, currently, you can't buy a book at a grocery store. If a grocery store sells books, they have to, take all the books down or, tape up the aisle with the books in, because books are non-essentials. But I'm at the grocery store buying essential food, and while I'm here, why can't I just pick up a book? Oh, no, you can't buy any non-essential stuff. It's sort of stupid. And so the UK's going full lockdown, apparently, on Monday. which will basically mean that all of the small businesses will not make any of their sales for Christmas. You're basically taking 7 weeks of Christmas sales, and Christmas sales start, in my mind, around the end of September. So we've already had 4 weeks of Christmas sales. And you're now going to take the middle of that shopping period out. And yeah, after Christmas, there's nobody shopping. I worked a number of years retail in London, and oh my goodness, hottest day in the store of the year was probably the Saturday before Christmas. And most of that week was hot because the number of bodies in the store just completely overwhelmed the AC. Even the height of summer, when it's 80, 90 degrees outside, it wasn't as hot in the store. Come the new year, we would see 10% of our normal clientele coming through for pretty much most of January and February. So, you're basically saying to all of the businesses now, you're not going to be able to sell anything for Christmas. Amazon's going to do a roaring trader for the Christmas run-up. And then you're going to have to pay all your staff for 2 months when nobody's actually wanting to do any shopping. So that's just a bad deal. But they're doing what they're doing. In terms of real public service, not career politicians. Indeed. I mean, there are still some of those around. Unfortunately, there are way too many politicians who go into politics because it's going to make them millions of dollars. And that's the only reason they're there. Just so they can have their big $20,000 freezers full of ice cream. Not mentioning that. The farm is going good. We are in mid-fall. So all of the harvest has been done. We've finally got all of the sugar beets out of the ground, and they're piled in on a slab of concrete at the back of the farm. And as soon as the price gets good, we will sell them. But at the moment, I think value's down about 80% of best price. So they're just going to sit there, get rained on, and all the other stuff. And I might as well say good morning, Captain Zank. Welcome to the stream. How is your Saturday going? Also, and still speaking on the farm, we have, I think there's 2 transport contracts and a bunch of small baling contracts, and with seasons running, baling contracts are silage bales, and I don't have a bale wrapper because we're not set up to actually bale silage. We stick it in a silage clamp and do it that way. Our silage is all sitting in the clamp, covered up, waiting to brew. And when that's ready, I may wait until I get a good price on that before we sell that. All of our regular crops, plus the sugar beets, have all been harvested, and I think for the most part, best sale time is towards the middle of winter. So that's the plan there, is to wait until best price and then do that. I did bring back a bunch of solid fertilizer and seeds at the end of the last stream, so we're all set up for getting these fields ready to plant. We're only planting 2 in the fall, so this one will be a cereal crop. I'm thinking barley, and then the other field will be canola. The big field to the north of us, which we can't see from here because there's too much land, will be sugar beets for next year, and the 2 sugar beet fields from this year will be sunflowers, because sunflowers is the best rotation following sugar beets. Surprisingly enough, canola isn't. So as far as the rotation goes, it'll be either canola, sunflowers, or sugar beets after a cereal crop. Always sunflowers after a sugar beet crop, and a cereal crop following canola or sunflowers. We're not going to be doing much in the way of corn unless I'm foraging it, and I don't have the equipment right now. And probably never doing soybeans, because they don't fit well in the crop rotation I forgot the word I wanted to use. They don't fit well in crop rotation. They always come about with a less than ideal yield unless you leave a field fallow. And I kind of like to avoid that because that's where we get a lot of our money from. Not going to be doing any more mowing this year. We just got the mowing in yesterday game day. We managed to gather all of the hay, and that's now stacked in the barns. I think we've got a nice amount of hay for our sheep early next year. As I said, we got the silage, although that did decay because we harvested it, or we cut it one day and collected it after midnight. So it was after midnight of the first day cutting grass. It will decay on you over time, and I don't know what that time schedule is. Normally most seasons things seem to trigger on the hour. But with the grass decay, it seemed to be kind of random. If I left the collection wagon out in the field full and went and saw to another task, when I came back to it, it would be, decayed down to 20,000, and something litres rather than the 21.3 that the cart could lift. So we've proven that grass does decay over time. It doesn't decay on the first day, so if you cut it, you've got until midnight to collect all the grass that has been cut, but after that point you're going to be losing volume until you do something with it. Okay, that is all of the cultivating done, I believe. We can take this back to the yard, clean it up, and get the slurry kit.